Uh, Hello, welcome to my channel, Red Cardinal Tarot. Obviously, if you found this message, there might be something here for you, or potentially an eye opener. Good evening, good day, good night. Whenever you do find this, I hope you're doing all right. Hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful day. You know, um, if you do get something out of the video, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Potentially, if this resonates with you and somebody might need you'd like to share it, by all means, share it. Let other people be informed and maybe you might know somebody that could use something from the message. Simply put. Um, those of you that have that do like watch the videos all the way through, subscribe and do share and comment. I do greatly appreciate those. Just even that right there is definitely even more than enough, to show support to my channel and to myself. And in a way, it kind of lets me know that I'm definitely doing something that somebody out there can benefit from. And that's what it's about. So in this message today, I don't know if I'm going to quite do cards. I did get a few questionnaires, just kind of basic one questions, through my Gmail, which again, I'll probably have it in the bottom of the screen there. You guys can go to book readings, or also, Akashic Records, how to learn through the life lessons and cycle that you might be through, so you can push through that and get the clarity and stuff that you might need to know, or you might be dealing with, that you might be wondering about. Also, I keep forgetting, but I guess it's just because I'm not trying to like promote it, but I do have a Cash App as well. If you guys would like to donate to the channel to helping me grow and better this channel with potentially cooler things later down the road. Also, get a couple more decks that I would like to do. I think I could do some pretty cool readings with them. And then, like I said, eventually not really depend on that, and just so much more so just take those donations potentially and turn them around and give it back in some way, some shape, some form, with good intentions. So today's kind of channel message, like I said, I'm not really going to do a reading potentially. I probably will after this one, and I'm probably going to try to keep them a little bit shorter. But basically, if you currently have been working potentially with Archangel Metatron, Ezekiel, or potentially Thoth, this is a download that I kind of got working with these three ascended masters and beings through my meditation I did. Again, if you guys remember in the last one, Spirit told me to start talking about potentially some of my older notes through my awakening, to also help others that might be potentially going through stuff, or might just need a simple a wake-up call, because a lot of things in this world, in this reality, is it's been twisted, it's been lied, it's been manipulated, it's been covered up. It's so sometimes it can be hard for us to see what's real, see what's true, and what's actually beneficial, and what's actually not beneficial, and what's more so a lie. So this message, I did have a few people reach out with a question again through my email, asking if I would potentially go more in depth about what it possibly meant in I think it was my last one, where I talked about where Jesus followed the path of the sun, and maybe what that might entail of, or if I could potentially help break that down. So that's kind of my intentions of this message. I don't quite have the stopwatch with me today, so I am just going to kind of just keep myself flowing and see how I do as far as potentially staying on track. Hopefully I do. So to begin, well, hold on. Pause. Alright. Let's get it. So, Jesus, is the sun traveling through the year with each star sign, or better known as zodiacs, play a role of the story for your soul to help learn or grow from. Um, Basically, implying that, as the sun is technically you, and what that entails of is it talks about our soul, our identity, and our inner light. As the sun also comes with death and resurrection, just like Jesus in the Bible and those contexts. It is not about worshiping the sun. Again, it is about becoming the sun. As it was more meant as a blueprint of yourself, actually. And I think that's kind of why these ascended beings and angelic beings came to me through my meditation. Thoth from ancient Egypt. Zachiel with more transmutation of healing with the violent flame. So you might be working with a violent flame, or you just might simply be in resonance with these beings that I might mention. And then also Archangel Metatron, or AKA Enoch. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why the whole book of Enoch was even taken out. Because if these things would have stayed in teachings or stayed in our reality, obviously, we probably wouldn't really have a government, that lies and deceits to us, news channels that pretty much can't even tell us the accurate weather for the day because, that's just how much of a liar they are. And to kind of also represent, some ancient teachings that, my ancestors, being, Native American and stuff, and how they also correlated to ancient Egypt times and their teachings, which would also be around, when I guess allegedly, quote, quote, more of the biblical times were going on. Obviously, just, years down the road. So basically, if you want to think about it, we have 12 hours in a day, in a night. As it peaks at noon, 12 o'clock, 12 p.m., 12 a.m., and the Bible also loves 12s. It really does, and it talks about how there's 12 tribes, there's 12 gates of the heavenly city, there's 12 disciples, there are simply the 12 constellations, which are basically the zodiac signs. But if we remember, that alone right there within the biblical sense is actually a lie, because if you remember my last one, I talked about how there's actually 13 zodiac signs, and then if you're like, oh well, that's that, and it's all representing basically how we can achieve Christ consciousness, which was the whole teachings basically of Jesus himself, as to how to achieve Christ consciousness, and how do we, and basically when we achieve Christ consciousness, how that's actually going to, in a sense and in a manner, how it's going to actually look, not only as for you as an individual, but how it's going to potentially change your outer reality, if that makes sense. And so with this being said, I forgive me if I do say this word wrong. Anonymous? Okay, I don't know. It's either way. It's Alamama. I don't know. It's ancient Greek. Okay. But it basically, you can Google it. I'm just having a brain fart saying this. I was perfectly fine saying it to a friend of mine earlier. Either way, though, it's a ancient Greek, and it's a diagram showing the position of the sun in the sky. Just forgive me, I cannot say the word right now, but I will tell you it is wrote down. And as you can see here, you know, as this is basically the position of the sun's path throughout our year. And I thought it was really funny because if you see here, as the sun moves through the Earth's sky, it actually makes a figure 8. So 8, or the infinity symbol, this is also where the infinity symbol can also correlate to Metatron, with being the number 8. And you know, and basically, what this is it shows us a figure 8. That every year this is the shape that the sun makes in the sky. And when it goes from solstice to solstice, being from summer equinox to, or you know, just through the solstice to solstice through through the equinox that it moves through. You know, starting with, where is it? Yep, so you're basically starting with Aries, obviously, you know, and then, you know, you're going to go from Aries, you're going to go up to May, Taurus, June, July, or June, Gemini, July, Cancer, you know, Leo, you know, and then so on and so forth, as this is the summer part as the top, and then obviously the winter being the bottom part, you know. And the sun is always making this shape in the sky as it moves through, moves or as it moves or travels throughout the year. And you know, that there's actually a temple, Konark, Konark. It's called the Sun Temple in India. In one of the biggest regions, it's actually Orisia, I believe it is. Orissa. Orissa. I believe now it's spelled or pronounced in a different manner, and that is Odisha. Odisha, maybe. You know, forgive me if I'm saying these words wrong. I'm just not in that region. I don't really, you know, practice these words. I guess maybe I should. It makes sense though, wouldn't it? You know, but basically it's being Osiris, you know, and Osiris is the sun, you know, which reflects the cosmic cycle of birth and re-death, you know, and we're just kind of bounce back and forth, so please bear with me. You know, this is going to be definitely a lot of information to kind of ground and take in at once, so I'm going to try to hopefully do a good job with that and to make it all interconnect. And the whole intention of this is potentially to show you, as there's many different ways that we can choose to go about our healing journey and our path, as they are technically all connected, whether it's through religion, whether it's through astrology, whether it's through spirituality and you know, tarot, or you know, whatever, as they are all interconnected, and I hope to bring some clarity and awareness to show that they are all interconnected. And you know, as we can look at this from a distant from a different angle, excuse me. To as you know, you have Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, and the Sun, Venus, Mercury, the Moon, and then the 8th. If you want to picture these as circles going down, kind of like how this is, how it has rings of circles around each cylinder coming down. You know, in a straight line here. You know, you would just have a circle for each one basically. And then the center here, basically representing, and and we're actually going to kind of maybe potentially tie this into how this is connected as well. It's this center, this eighth sphere, can represent the Earth, and Saturn is technically known as the Lord of the Rings. And Saturn can also have a very different meaning as well. The more you can look into that, and basically it's saying that we come from the what is it? The pleroma, I believe that's what it's called, which is in layman terms, it's just it's the Creator, the Most High, which is basically an lost my thought, lost my place. Where was that? Oh yeah, so it's basically a place where we all come from. That's unconditional consciousness, a being, a state of pure awareness that exists independently of external conditions. Obviously, with pure, honest, balanced, integrated beings, being quote quote, obviously the Most High is the one who truly cannot be named, because he is so infinite and everywhere and everything, and in all of us, whether we choose to accept that or not. That's where our free will and choice comes into play. And obviously, those that don't want to believe, then this message may not be for you. Just probably simply move along. But basically, it talks about a personal identity, and that we do go down and perform these 12 labors. And we do have 7 vices, 7 virtues, 7 days of the week, 7 musical notes, and 7 main chakras, talking about the crown, the third eye, the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root, being our 7 main chakras, which can also be known as the raws. As this here, you would have your circles, potentially known as your raws. So an example, you could have, this would be obviously, let's say, I don't know, I hope you can see this center dot, but you could say this, you have this center dot here, and then you would have a chakra there, and a chakra there, and then a chakra here, and then so on and so forth. 7 more obviously, and then the 8th one being Earth, which also would represent you. So basically, and those are known as the raws. As you have Earth here as Isis. These are known as the raws, and then you would have these bands that connect, okay, to these, kind of like this circle here, as you can see, like this circle would go all the way around, and these are also known as the L's, okay, the L's, and basically, with the Lamb of God, Rahman, being, the up high, it's always going to be the up high, the ram, the crown, the top, and basically, did I talk about this one? Yes. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Okay. And then basically, yeah, so basically it can also hint, in ancient Egyptian times, Ra was also known, or it was also hints at Ra, the sun god Ra, sailing through the sky by the day and journeying through the underworld by night, bringing or being or bringing a death, or a reborn at dawn each day. As the sun rises, we are reborn in the Creator's sense, to basically put it in layman terms, what it's more so meaning is each day we are reborn through the Son, through the divine, through the Most High, and basically also something to note that was with this the Konark, the Sun Temple in India. If you actually was curious, as there are actually 24 wheels around it, symbolizing and representing 24 hours in a day, and it's also showing how much the sun was loved because they knew the signs, and you're and this is what I mean by following the sun's path, following the signs. Can you see the signs? It talks about, can you see the signs? Can you see or read, interpret the signs? And what are those signs? The signs is the zodiac and the sun and how it moves through the year of our yearly cycle, and what we are supposed to technically do or learn or cultivate as each month and as each zodiac sign is represented and presented to us in our physical reality, and also as a more emotional terminology as well, or psychological, basically means as well. And it basically talks about how much the sun was actually loved and respected, and with the signs. These in ancient times, these people were actually paying respect to the signs, to the zodiac signs, because back then they could read, they understood, and they knew what the signs represent and what they were implying and how to navigate through them. And if you want to go back to 14th, 18th, 100th century, where we can start to see where a lot of the Roman Christianity or whatever empire was trying to overthrow a lot of the ancient teachings, or maybe pagan teachings, or even like myself, Native American teachings. Basically, as the Indian or Indian people, we had the chief hats. The chief hats, the whole reason we wore that chief hat is in a same way, the same reason why ancient Indians, kind of had the Ankh symbol. They kind of correlate. You can look into what and why they mean. It's basically, just a form of divinity. And that's why they always had that, and that's why Indians always wore that, and it was very sacred to us and to them, and to not allow that to basically fall on the ground, as it would definitely bring a lot of shame and stuff to us, as we had believed back then. But basically, a lot of times, if you got a lot of these people nowadays that if you try to bring this up sometimes, which I feel the collective is more open-minded in today's age, which is definitely a very good thing as well. But we also still have the that's witchcraft and that's satanic, and you're talking, that's the non-believers trying to make us believers talk about what we know is wrong and right. You know what I'm saying? And basically, if you really know, then you know, and if you don't know, then this is hopefully to wake you up, because that's what we need to do. We need to wake up the consciousness. We need to wake up collectively so we can actually go back, because if you actually go back to prior to when the government system and when the churches and all these people and places, things decided to start changing and removing these teachings, if you actually want to go back, sometimes there's actually just really not history, probably because people were just living, people were just going through what they needed to go through. But it was also saying, these are things and teachings that are hundreds and thousands of eons and years old, that literally relate to today's age, that sometimes scientists are still trying to basically scientifically or mathematically prove. And there's really, it's sometimes it's not a mathematical equation that we per se need to have proven. Maybe it's sometimes more of a vibration and an emotion that we need to feel and experience before we can actually understand it, if that makes sense. And you have all these people out here that talk about spirituality, or they talk about magic, or they talk about this, that, and other. And there's always a polarity of good and bad. It's just more so the individual's intentions of how they're going to use this wisdom, and how they're going to use this knowledge, and how they're going to apply it to themselves, and maybe to benefit, help other people. And basically, and you can, and if you actually take a step back and look around, you can actually see that a lot of people eat unhealthy foods. You go to fast food joints, you don't really make your own meals. You don't really per se grow your own vegetables. Now, I do know there's people out here that do this, that we do try to garden or grow our own vegetables, and we do try to do these things, and we do try to live healthier. I'm not simply per se talking to you people. I'm more implying to the people that that might choose to be doing this, and then also choosing to constantly believe what they see on the internet, or what they see on the news, or what they might be hearing about this, instead of using your own intuition and discernment, and just simply going and asking maybe those people for yourselves. Or maybe just do your own due diligence before you judge a book by its cover, per se. We can apply it in that manner as well. And basically the whole reason why they've made social media so accessible, why they project all these things in front of you, and why they've made fast food joints so just boom right there, and why they wanted them to be so quick and easy. It's simply, it's basically, it's destroying us. It's keeping us distracted. It's keeping us, to perceive this reality in a certain manner, and not actually more so what we need to do as individuals, and to actually break free of the matrix. Kind of like Neil, or what was her name, Tiffany, I believe, or something like Truth. I don't know, something. If you know, you know. It's kind of more irrelevant right now, and I'm not going to pay attention to that. But basically, it's you always have these people, because they'll start trying to point the finger, and this is bad, and that's negative, and you shouldn't be doing that, and you shouldn't talk about that, and you should, well, who are you to tell people what you need to do? Because if you're that concerned about what myself is doing, or what other people might be doing, obviously you got a lot of healing to do, and a lot of self-reflection and shadow work you need to work through, which hence again we can start that by learning the zodiac signs and reading the signs. So when the signs that the divine are being presented to us, we can actually know how to interpret them, and actually move through them, and actually heal. Which this is kind of like, again, it's old teachings that I feel it's really forgotten. I know some people that do teach it, some people don't. It is what it is. And it's just basically these people would be more so like, the people that are doing this are the non-believers. And the whole reason they would simply say, like, people like myself, or people like this channel, or other channels that might be more esoteric or spiritual, that's just simply here, or divination, that's trying to help people, the whole reason they would say, well this is bad, it's because they're trying to proclaim us as non-believers, but in reality, those are actually more of the people that are probably a part of the corruption, and part of the system that actually is trying to simply just keep people astray and afraid of their own power, and their own abilities, and their own potential, because they know if every individual actually started to do that for themselves right here today, then 90% of this hierarchy in this whole entire world would collapse like that. We're talking multi-trillion, billion, gazillion dollar organizations, and it's not just on this part of the world. It would be globally. Everything that we think that oh well, it needs to be ours, and you can't have it, or we need to go fight and do this over this and that. If we would actually stop listening to these people that are trying to literally